So in a sense, the point of this meeting was to let me mute that really quick. The point of this meeting is to first of all update the community on the progress we've made in development and to announce the final release date. I think it's pretty clear by this point that we have postponed the initial release date. We've realized that our game mode was way too complex to be finished in such a short period of time, and if we wanted to release a game mode as good as we promised, we'd have to postpone it. Also, that combined with the fact that coronavirus is no longer really a factor, therefore we don't have to hurry the development up, since initially the plan was to, release it during coronavirus, but since it's already passed, now we're just gonna take our time. Now, the final release date is gonna be somewhere at the beginning of August, so first week of August. There is a chance it's gonna be released in before that, but as an official release date, first week of August, basically. I mean, we're probably going to try to make it on the first, so for it to be nice. But yeah. Now I know that some people have been saying it's going to be later, it's going to be earlier. That's the final release date. By then the game should be done and working. So the beginning of August. Now, obviously, we're going to make a short announcement after this to make to announce the release date for the rest of the player base. Now, obviously, development has been going on during this period, though again a bit slower than it is going to be going now, since obviously all of us had exams in the management team, in the development team, and so on. So we had to focus on that as well as the development. So we focused more on the base code of the game mode rather than on actual features, since that was easier to get out of the way for the beginning. Now, obviously, we've been working on the, I guess, on the game mode as a whole, on each aspect of it, each feature, like the crafting system, politics, and so on. So we're gonna be going through that afterwards if people have questions about it, obviously. Now, as you've seen, we've also started building up our staff team. We've accepted staff applications from some people, and we're starting to develop a pretty big staff team. Now, obviously, we need more staff members. So if you feel like you want to contribute to the server more, you should probably apply for staff. You Since again, the more staff members we have, the better. And currently, we don't have enough to staff the server. Now, continuing from that, we're also going to start recruiting Discord staff today or tomorrow. So people who deal with policy in the Discord and making sure there's no shit posting. We're also going to start having some sort of trainings slowly for Civil Workers Union and for Lambda. Now, obviously, Civil Workers Union is very dependent on certain stuff that isn't on the server yet. Then we're going to start, putting people in their certain branches, getting some sort of a leadership structure. We're also going to start building the leadership structure of CP more. So I guess look out for that. So we're also going to start recruiting some OTA members soon enough. Again, keep in mind those ranks are those are the begin like people can still join like the moment when the server releases, people can join any branch they want, right? They just have to go up to I don't know, Civil Workers Union and join it through roleplay, right? But the people right now, like you guys, the people who already have roles on the server, you're gonna be kind of like you're gonna be setting the standard and for the entire server when it comes to seriousness. So that's why it takes an application and an interview, and that's why there's gonna be multiple levels of vetting to make sure that only the best are there from the beginning, because those are gonna be the people that are gonna train the new players that are gonna decide how serious the game mode is gonna be and how competent the people inside of it are going to be. But because many people have been asking about it, no, like you won't have to make a Discord application for CP. You won't have to do it for Civil Workers Union and so on. You're gonna go and join it like you would in real life. Like you're either gonna go to like the headquarters of Civil Workers Union and join it, or for CP as well. Now, for very old players, there will be a feature which allows you to get a character straight into CP or Civil Workers Union, but that's gonna be only for like players who have a lot of player time. So that have proven to be competent enough. Now, honestly, like that's genuinely most of what I have the main announcements. The point of this community was really to take questions from you, the community, about the game mode itself. I think I've made everything clear. Like, yes, there will be activities for all in character activities like trainings and briefings for all in character branches. There will be more recruitment into the higher ranks of them. We're gonna start recruiting for stuff, and we're gonna start recruiting for Discord stuff. And the release date, first week of August. So now we can start with questions. Now, from now on, nothing in community meeting text besides actual questions. No answers to them, no nothing, no pictures, just the questions. The player limit will be 128 players. Yes, we will have showcases of that. As I've said, right now we've worked on the core of the features, which means that they don't yet look like they would in their final state. It's just like the base stuff that we're gonna build on in the following months. Therefore, I won't be releasing anything yet on that. But yes, the player limit is gonna be 128, by the way. Can you, Magnus, can you emoji every question that I've answered? Oh,
Will do.
okay. Will there be a sub forum for each faction on the forums or individual? There probably won't be sub channels for each sub for channels on the forums for it. There will certainly obviously be branch, certain like specific areas in this Discord for each one of them. We haven't decided yet if we're gonna have separate Discords for each branch, but we might. So that is a possibility. But again, we're gonna see that that's gonna be decided in the future. The rebels, they won't be like the way the characters and the jobs quote unquote would work is very similar to Half-Life and Clockwork. It is gonna be different, but it is gonna be more similar to that than Dark RP. So Rebels, there is not gonna be like quote unquote job for it. Like you're gonna make a citizen character, and you can join. You can make your own resistance set. You can do anything you want as long as it makes sense in roleplay. So from starting your own cell to joining an already existing one, a Lambda is gonna be the first. It is gonna be sort of a server run cell. So like the main, especially because it's a big thing in Half-Life lore, and secondly because we must make sure that from day one there is well organized resistance that does their job well and that is there to recruit new rebels. So that's why Lambda is a bigger thing with trainings and stuff. But you can practically, as a player, go and make your own resistance cell with your friends and resist however you see fit to it. Obviously within the norms of the rules and of roleplay. So that's how rebels will work. Any citizen is going to be able to rebel whenever they want to, basically, as long as again it makes sense and it's not retarded or mangy. Vehicles will be rare. Obviously, citizens will never have vehicles or civil workers union. However, obviously CPs and especially OTA are going to sometimes use vehicles, though again they're not needed. The map, while it is big, it's big. It's very big. It's very big vertically. So in a sense, vehicles are not needed to get from one place to another, especially for citizens. Now, again, as I said, OTA sometimes will use them, but they won't be a common sight. Especially because if you played on World War II, there's a lot of lag, and at least 30% of that lag is caused by the cars. So imagine that 30% of imagine if World War II was 30% better, or even more, 40%. Again, obviously, our game mode is going to be way more complex than World War II, so don't expect a huge lag improvement, but performance should be way better since we're not going to be using cars. Okay. Again, Discord staff manager we're gonna choose it him later. Again, we're currently building a staff team. For now, we're probably gonna have an interim person, but in the end, it's gonna be one of the senior staff members when we build a senior staff team. But there will be members of the actual staff team. Pack 3 is gonna exist. It's gonna be one of the buyable features. You're gonna have to buy Pack 3. And obviously, there's gonna be strict rules on how you can use Pack 3 in order to ensure, that people don't use it, don't abuse it, or break others, immersion with it. Okay. By the way, guys, stop putting stuff that isn't questions in chat. So how will inventory management work? So each character is gonna have obviously an inventory. It is gonna be based on weight and space at the same time. You're gonna have items. You're gonna put them in your inventory, and obviously you have a certain amount of slots and a certain amount of weight you can carry. Obviously, all of this can be upgraded by buying, for example, a backpack, for example, or better clothing. Now, this is not 100% guaranteed, but most likely, what clothes you have on you is gonna affect how much you can carry in a kind of like Daisy-esque style, or where you basically, if you have like better like more, I guess, better clothing with more space inside of them. Logically, you're gonna be able to carry more stuff. You're gonna have more slots and a bigger weight threshold. Also, through the skill system, there might be ways to improve how much weight you can carry. Place traps in the tunnels. Yes, there will be certain rules on how you can place traps in the tunnels. Again, that is, we haven't discussed that yet, but theoretically, yes, there will be. Obviously, there will be stuff like mines that you can craft, at least in, not perhaps not initially, but there will be. So there are going to be ways of placing traps in the tunnels. Also, combat in the tunnels is going to be very unrestricted. So it's going to be, especially because obviously there's going to be specific rules that restrict rebels from just going and shooting CPs in the middle of the street, right? Because it's retarded, since that's practically committing suicide. But in the tunnels, it's way more different. So and also in the sewers, you're going to have the zombies. So there's going to be a lot of combat in the sewers. That's what I'm going to say. That's probably going to be where most of the interesting combat takes place. And I think that's going to be very interesting since the sewers are very nicely built. OTA recruitment. Okay, so basically, we're gonna first of all get some senior ranks in the CP, some more senior ranks in the CP, the leadership roles, so like quote unquote NCOs and COs. Obviously, they're not called that, but so it's easier to understand. So the people who would actually take leadership positions in the CP, and then people are going to be specialized in the specific branches of CP. And then from those, when you have a somewhat build up CP, civil protection, the best people out of it are going to be recruited into OTA. Now, OTA obviously is going to be Platinum VIP. It's going to be one of the few paid features on the server. So people inside, so we're going to have to assure that people who do get into OTA are going to buy Platinum VIP. Will Wire be supported on the server? I can't guarantee that. It's very easily exploitable. Might, probably not. To get Russia's money. Okay, so first of all, you're going to have, yes, Russian machines. Now, I'm not sure to which extent. Now, machines are interesting, but it's also interesting to have civil workers union hand them out. Now, certainly, obviously, besides getting there's gonna be the daily ration or hourly ration, which is gonna have, depending on your loyalty rank, you're gonna get food and credits. Now, money. Obviously, you can also go work for civil workers union for money, or join work shifts without, like, as a normal citizen, for more money and for rations. There's gonna be like there's gonna be the main ration, and there's gonna be supplement ration. Supplements are gonna be given by civil workers union after work shifts, certain work shifts, which is gonna be kind of like each tier of loyalty is gonna have one main ration and one type of secondary ration, which contains, I guess, first of all, some more basic food and water, and then some luxuries in a sense. Events. So the way we're gonna tackle events on this server, we're gonna have, it is not going to be made in World War II and Star Wars. You can clearly tell that an event is being made from out of character, and that breaks the immersion. I mean, they're fun because those are shoot servers, but our server is going to be more based on roleplay. So we're going to have a game master or a group of team of game masters who are going to, from out of character through in character positions of different people, be coordinating roleplay in order to have, again, um, to make sure that everything works. There's going to be an economy. There's going to be a political system. There's going to be, obviously, quote unquote gang wars or disputes between different resistance groups and so on. And those are all going to be over, in a sense, from out of character. Like, the game masters are going to be sure to cause some to happen, so people have something to do, and make sure that they happen without rules being broken, or without, for example, one group having the monopoly on the entire server to the point where it gets cancerous. Now, besides those events, which will look like player created events but won't be, there will actually be normal events that you're probably going to be able to tell are created by the event team, but they're going to be rare. They're not, and we're going to make sure that they don't break the immersion of people. But yes, there will be a combination of this type of events that the game masters would cause by interfering with roleplay without being seen, and by using their own characters from in-game or characters of other staff members. While at the same time, there will also be a reduced number of actual events like on World War II. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's going to be training with CPN Lambda on the server. I mean, there are going to be some joint trainings to see how the server will function, but that's, I guess, far in the future. For now, we have to train each branch separately, but there might be some, I guess, combat training in a sense, or sort of like, so people can get, used to the sewers, for example, which takes a long time because they're huge. So there might be, like, I guess, some training with both of the branches being involved. No, so the skill system is not going to be like a basic agility, strength, intelligence skill system that is boring and no one cares about and it's been seen 1,000 times before. The skill system is going to be way more in depth. It's going to make sense. So you're not just going to be jumping, like, just sprinting in a circle until you get full agility so you're faster than everyone. Like, it's actually going to make sense. You're going to get skill systems, skill points harder and harder. You're not going to be able to specialize in everything. There's not going to be three fields. Like, basically, you're still going to have some sort of like bigger fields like intelligence, but then they're going to have subsections. And you can only specialize in a certain amount of those. So each character is going to be unique in what it can do. And also, the more skills you have in one area, the you're obviously going to get, for example, some special recipes that otherwise you wouldn't be able to get, obviously, for certain specific items. For example, if you're a very advanced medic, your healing is going to be more effective than others, stuff like that. You're going to have, and you might be able to unlock certain abilities that otherwise you wouldn't possess, like being able to hack a CP terminal, stuff of the sort. It's going to be way more in depth, and it's actually going to it's actually going to take some thinking. Like, you're not going to be able to max everything else. So you're going to have to think what your character does and what do you want to become with the character. Obviously, there is going to be ways to reset your skill points in case you've done something you didn't want to, but it's going to be a limited amount of those. So in the end, each character is going to be unique in that sense, where each character is going to have special abilities and is going to be genuinely better than others at some specific things. Lambda won't get weapons by default. I mean, obviously, the Lambda resistance cells, since it's an official, they are gonna, there is gonna be ways to buy weapons that are easier than in the average Half-Life server, right? But at the same time, they are gonna be hard to get. You can also craft them or steal them. Obviously, Lambda and some, the bigger resistance cells, right? Again, when the resistance cell gets bigger, the game master would notice that and start officializing it in a sense. So they will get, for example, discounts from the dealers from the underground. But there's going to be a sense of there's going to be limited weapons that you can buy. There's not going to be like you cannot just go and buy 500 pistols. It's going to be a limited amount of weapons you can buy. There won't be adverts or commands of the sort for like slash advert and stuff because again, player-made events such as raids and stuff won't be very restricted like on World War II. They're only going to be restricted about what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, what is roleplay and what isn't roleplay. So obviously a raid, now there's going to be some specific raiding rules, for example, like for bigger player made actions, but there won't be like a slash advert channel. No. Again, ammo will be limited just like everything else. Like, you're not going to be able to go and waste it. You're actually going to have to, I mean, it's not going to be to the point where you have to count your shots, but that's not going to be to the point where you can just like spray weapons into walls, like, spray a machine gun into the wall until, because you're going to run out of ammo. And ammo is going to be obviously easy to craft and cheap, but the more you buy, again, it's not going to be cheap enough for you to be able to waste it. No, the sewers are huge. Like, the sewers aren't like the ones on World War II. They are genuinely fucking huge.
Yeah, they're very big.
I've it's like
We're gonna see how they go in playtesting. Yeah.
now you have to keep in mind that you're not going to just be able to go and move there. First of all, you can't; those doors can't be owned. Second of all, there's going to be zombies in the sewers. Like, people who have VIP can go into zombie jobs and jobs. I mean, aliens from Zen, right? So those, and they are going to have restricted NLR. They are going to be able to just KOS you. So it's gonna be a matter of in the sewers, like, despite it being big, it's not gonna be breaking roleplay by people just moving into the sewers and not coming on the surface, right? But at the same time, the sewers are genuinely huge, right? And there's a resistance base inside of them. There's a lot of secret areas. I mean, again, it takes genuine days to learn the sewers. Now, it has multiple levels. It has many exits. It's genuinely the biggest sewer system I've ever seen in Garry's Mod. Um, There might the thing with killing a zombie, would you like, if you kill a zombie, would you get materials for killing it? Now, there is gonna be certain, for example, if you kill a CP, you'd be able to get certain stuff by killing him, right? Like, for example, a radio circuit that helps you build, like, for example, construct, I don't know, like a remote controlled bomb or something of the sort, right? I'm not sure. Zombies might drop something. It's a matter of making sure it makes sense in roleplay. Like, it makes sense that we'd have it. I mean, I'm not sure what a zombie would drop that you'd really need. Again, we're gonna look into it, but keep in mind, we're gonna, like, everything that is on the server is gonna be craftable and it is going to be able to be broken apart into pieces. So since it's going to be a very complicated crafting system, we're not going to be adding random stuff. We're going to try to keep to stuff that's actually relevant. Cremators. I mean, I'm not sure what we use cremators for. No, 3D radios won't be a thing on the server. I mean, they will be, but I mean, they won't be used. They're only going to be used by like, eventing, for example, or something, or like by the actual, um, by the city administration to broadcast stuff. Like they won't be. They're only going to be used very rarely and when it's really needed. Chances that G-Man would appear. Now, I mean, perhaps in an event. Now, all I'm gonna say is that in the future of the server, not with the beginning, we are. I mean, I thought of perhaps adding some sort of storyline that you can go with quests and stuff. Now, it's not guaranteed, and I wouldn't say much, but most likely you won't be seeing G-Man around the server, at least not for the foreseeable future. Because again, then we'd have to get deep into the lore and stuff, and we don't like. We don't want to get into the lore because we might make something stupid or something that is, like Half-Life lore is very, very fragile, and we wouldn't be meddle. We wouldn't want to meddle with it. Restaurants work. I mean, businesses in general. Like basically, okay, so you want to by the beginning, right? Obviously, we will have make sure that the moment the server begins, Civil Workers Union has some businesses up, so finance, right? So like some fundamental businesses that the server needs to run. Now, the way you go about making a business is you go to Civil Workers Union, you apply for a business permit, and you make your own business. Obviously, you'd have to join Civil Workers Union in the process. But at the same time, again, it's like on a character system, so it wouldn't be a big difference. You just, get, I guess, a sort of like a new ID that says you're part of Civil Workers Union, like a Civil Workers Union card of sorts. And all businesses are going to be in the end managed at a bigger level by Civil Workers Union as a business. Again, it's like economy in Half-Life is a bit in a like it's kind of like communist in a sense. So they're gonna have some power over your business. They're gonna be collecting taxes. They're gonna be setting regulations and stuff for your business. They might force you to get employees because obviously people can go and apply to join Civil Workers Union, the finance department, which means they would be placed in a business to help out with it. You might be, forced depending on your business to sometimes have work shifts and stuff of the sort, but in the sense you'd have to go to Civil Workers Union and apply to have a business. And that applies to restaurants and all kind of businesses. But again, like so it's not gonna be like on Clockwork, but I'm gonna explain the way it works on Clockwork so you guys understand kind of how it works. So on Clockwork, you have a thing called flags. So you have certain flags that allow you, for example, to use a fizz gun or to, spawn props in, or to like, I don't know, spawn food in, or to spawn clothes in, right? So if you become a business owner, you get the stuff gives you the flag. Now it's gonna be working differently on our server. It's gonna be a different system. It's not fully written down yet, so I'm not going to go into depth with it. But basically, depending on what business you have, you're going to be able to, yes, you're going to have physical abilities given to you by the server in order to run your business, like being able to buy specific items and sell them afterwards. Will Sim be G-Man? No, and Gordon won't be on the server. He wasn't really in CT24. Yes, people in Resistance can decide to snitch to the CP. Again, PKs won't be hunted as liberally as in other servers. Like, you're not just gonna get PK the moment the moment when you do something wrong, you get PK like in other servers. But there will be, I guess, big repercussions for dying, like losing money, losing some items, and so on. Obviously, what I forgot to add for the inventory system is that there is gonna be quote unquote item banks. So one for the like one in the resistance base and one in the Civil Workers Union, where you can store items for a price, right? And those items can't be touched. Obviously, you can't store contraband in Civil Workers Union, right? Like weapons and stuff, but it's cheaper to store it in the Civil Workers Union. So when you have basic items like food and stuff, you'd store it there. What if you had weapons? You'd store them in the Resistance item bank, and obviously those banks would be limited to as to how much stuff you can put inside of them. And those exist because obviously if you die, you lose your items, right? So or if you get caught by CP, they confiscate your items if you have contraband, and then they probably shoot you. So there has to be a way for people to be able to, I guess, collect some items or save them up. Will the content pack be released? No, it won't be released. I mean, it's gonna be released like 1 week in advance of the actual release date of the server. Game masters will be selected. Basically the guy in charge of the of game master, like the game masters, like it's probably the game master is gonna be one, and then we're gonna find a different name for the people helping him out. But like he's gonna be part of the senior staff as on World War II and and on NCP. Here, the management roles on the server, like stuff like that, or group management and so on, will be taken on by um by senior staff members. And obviously people are gonna be able to help with that, but they probably are gonna have to be part of the staff team as well. But it would probably be like you'd obviously, if you're a staff member and want to join this team, you'd have to apply, and it would be a harsh process because we put a very like we have a very high standard for our RP, and we must make sure that at least the people who oversee it are competent and serious. Okay, so the way the head crabs and zombies will work is, again, it's gonna be a system separate from the characters, so you won't be playing a character when you play them. Again, like the way our framework works is you don't have to be playing a character at all points, right? So you can literally be taken out of the entire character system into a more dark RPG system, and that's going to be how it's how to explain it in words. Again, you're going to be able to see it, but that's how headcrabs and zombies work. Depending on your VIP rank, you're going to be able to go and play as a zombie. Again, it's going to be a VIP only feature, and those zombies and head crabs and so on, and ant lions and whatever we're going to allow people to play as, they're only going to be in the sewers. There are going to be like situations where they might leave the sewers for roleplay purposes, but that's going to be how it works with them. As for vortigons, we don't like vortigons are going to exist, maybe not from the exact beginning, because when we add the vortigons, we actually want to make a system for vortigons that is interesting and in depth. So you would like people would actually apply for it, and then they could actually be freed. Like there's actually going to be ways for resistance to free them. And then when they get freed, obviously a vortigon is overpowered. Now he wouldn't be able to leave the sewers with that character, but at the same time, he'd be overpowered. So obviously, and also vortigons have a very specific way of existing, I guess. So we'd make sure that the people roleplay them properly. So vortigons probably won't be there from the beginning, since we don't want to just throw them in as a VIP job that does nothing interesting. Like we want it to actually be an interesting way of roleplaying. If you get killed by a headcrab, they become a zombie. Now we've looked into that. It is possible for us to make it so that if you're a headcrab and you kill someone, the headcrab turns into a zombie. Now you won't turn into a zombie because you wouldn't have power over your own body anymore. You die and respawn with less money, without an inventory, basically. But for the head crab, yes, the head crab. If we add them on, like when the head crab, when it kills you, it would turn into a zombie. Inventory, yes, you'd lose it on death. Now we're not sure if we're gonna make it so you lose your entire inventory or just a percentage of it, but most likely yes, you lose it over death. Especially because it is gonna be incredibly easy to store your items. Like it's gonna be incredibly easy, and it's not even gonna be expensive. It's only gonna be expensive to store your contraband. But for an old player, it shouldn't be like, even especially if you play for a while and make some money and get across through the game mode before you start getting into resistance roleplay, you're not gonna have an issue being able to afford storage. And yes, there has to be something that you lose when you die, because the reason why you go over to when you have resistance, just fucking putting out a weapon in front of 20 police officers and randomly shooting at people, is because they don't lose anything if they die. And because everyone has like 60 million Reich marks, so even if we made them lose money, they wouldn't really care. So that's why here, like, dying is actually going to be costly. Like, it's actually going to be RPR repercussions if you die. Yes, I mean, again, there will be an announcement. I'm not going to go through the questions that I've answered in the announcement, but there will be an announcement when I announce the release date, basically. There will be comm system for CP, at least, obviously, and there will be group chat, yes, in a sense. Now, that being said, there obviously won't be a group chat for citizens. They'd have to actually get radios for that. So CP and OT are going to have a very interesting interface, right? Since they obviously have the costumes, the masks, and all of that. So they will be able to set stuff like weight points on the map and stuff like that. We'll be able to put stuff on the map that should be able to see through the CP interface, right? It's gonna be like you'd expect someone who's not even human anymore to see the world. Obviously, OTA will have even more interesting stuff than that. They will actually have aim assisting stuff. Like if you know how, like, okay, so to explain it easy, if you know, like, when you pick someone up with a phase gun, right? They shine like there's, I guess, a light around them, and OTA is gonna be able to see that around people. Around BC, like there's gonna be, obviously they have to activate it, but there's gonna be actual ways of them of assisting their site. And when you die, there probably won't be a thing saying where you died. You can set checkpoints for, like, or alerts so people can see on the map where something is happening. If you're a certain rank and above, otherwise you just have to report in through the radio where you are and what's happening. But no, if you just die, people won't be able to tell where you died. It might only be a thing for the OTA that when they die, people automatically checkpoint gets set for all CP and OTA to see where they died. Now for stamina, we're not yet sure if we're going to have a stamina system. We're probably not going to have one since we already have hunger and thirst, so stamina will just be extra. So no, most likely we won't have a stamina system, but again, we'll see about that. There is a slight chance we might add one. I'll give you a moment. Okay. Um. Well, shop build, basically the way property works is don't just go and buy a door. You actually get given a door by, like, if you want to own an apartment, you get given it by a CP. Obviously there is going to be perhaps in the slums areas that you can just go and live in and buy the door like that, just like that. But at least businesses are going to be owned by civil workers union as a whole, right? So since everyone who owns a business is part of civil workers union, that's how it's going to be working. Now some businesses are going to be permanent, some are going to be temporary, again depending on the type of business. Again, that's going to be within civil workers union. There's obviously going to be some businesses that are less active or less relevant that are going to not going to be permanent. There's going to be some businesses that are there every day, and that the new people that join civil workers union are get put into to work, for example, like the main ones, which are going to be permanent. There is going to be an open beta, probably like 1 week before the server releases or a few days before the server releases. It's going to be very controlled. Like it's not going to be long or so. It's going to be like 1 or 2 days. People are going to be able to get around, develop their characters to an extent. No, the storage is permanent. Like you put something in the storage, is there forever. Yeah, if you're a faction member and you get PK'd, you have to, obviously your character is gone, so you have to create a new character, and the new character you can't make it straight into Civil Workers Union. Again, there is gonna be a feature where you can make characters straight into like a special recruit job for Civil Workers Union or for CP, right? If you're very old into the server, so that it's easier for you to create characters. But that's gonna be about that. No, like you're actually gonna have to go and make a new character and actually join CP and work up, or Civil Workers Union, and work up the ranks. Again, PKs aren't gonna be handed very oftenly. So if you want, so that won't be a great threat. But again, if you do stuff like trying to help resistance, you are gonna get PK, for example. Yes, there will be a sort of loot system. First of all, you're going to be able to go into the sewers and find loot or in other places. And second of all, yes, when you kill OTA, I can guarantee for CPs, perhaps certain ranks of CPs and higher, you're going to be able to be dropped certain specific items that you'd only be able to collect off the body of a CP, obviously. We'll hardly be playing the server every single day. Um, as for the transhumanization of CPs, again, we haven't decided yet to which level you get transhumanized and at which rank. But yes, obviously the higher ranks of CPs will be less and less human. Well, CPs obviously have infinite equipment. Like they can just go to the armory and get new equipment. It won't be a matter of if CPs die enough, they run out of equipment. And no, when you kill a CP, you probably won't be able to get his weapon and stuff because it's gonna be way too easy to get weapons. So when a CP dies, they probably won't be able to. I mean, again, we'll see. Perhaps there's gonna be a certain chance that you get your weapon, but we don't want to make it so people can get weapons way too easily. A person was gonna be able to have 3 characters. Again, they can buy more characters. Basically, they can buy more characters, so it's up to like 4 or 5. but ideally they can only have they but by default they can only have 3 characters. Um, so I'm not sure what you mean by the question with Massington. I mean, it's very like you don't get PK'd when you die. No, like first of all, that's one thing. So no, if someone just comes and kills you, you don't get PK'd. PKs again are hard. There are going to be more PKs than on a World War II, but there are going to be less PKs than on Clockwork.
A few people
As
asking
for
about
RDM,
for
again,
RDM.
there is going to be logs for what items you have. So if you prove, obviously, if you lose your inventory because someone RDM'd you and you prove it in a staff suit, obviously, if it was actually RDM and a staff member decides that it was RDM, you can get refunded your inventory. Yeah, if you get PK'd, the next character is a completely new person. Again, we're probably going to use the basis on the percentage or not have CPs drop their weapon. Again, we don't want to make weapons way too easily accessible. Again, this server is going to have significantly more combat than the average Clockwork server, so it would mean a lot more CPs dying and a lot more weapons being put. So it's kind of like a cycle where more CPs die, more weapons get dropped, so even more CPs die. So weapons become very accessible. There no one like people start selling them to players. People don't buy them from dealers anymore, and there's I guess this kind of inflation where everyone has weapons and they lose their value. So we're gonna have to be very careful about how we handle, like how accessible we make um, weapons. Now, perhaps the very low ranks can cooperate with Lambda in CP. Again, that obviously result in a PK, but obviously like after 1 or 2 promotions, when you get transhumanized the first time, that's when you stop being able to cooperate with resistance, since you wouldn't be able because of your transhumanization. So like if you they probably CPs are going to be allowed to cooperate with resistance and rebels, and I guess kind of betray the union, but at the same time that only happen for the very low ranks. No, if your character gets PK'd, you can't have the same name, most likely. I mean, no, you won't be able to have the same name. There are slums, but they aren't off limits for civs. The only off limit stuff is in the sewers, which are huge. Obviously, there is some small areas of like some of the entrances of the sewers that are like kind of like broken down buildings when the people wouldn't be allowed inside. But obviously, PCPs wouldn't be there because we don't want CPs just camping the entrances to the fucking sewers 24/7 so people can get inside of them. As a citizen, you can spawn props. Again, there's gonna be you're gonna be able you're gonna need permission to increase the amount of props you spawn, but anyone will be able to spawn props, a certain amount of them, so they can build somewhat of of a house. SCPs when well, what do you mean? Not anytime soon, I guess. This is not SCP. But I can't give you a estimate, especially because it depends a lot on your computer and your internet. Again, it's probably like it's still gonna be Garry's mod, so don't expect it to be lag free. That's all I'm gonna say. Especially because it's a 128 slot server that we intend on filling. So, when you have over 100 players on the server, there is going to be lag. There is going to be some lag spikes and stuff. Like, it's simply Garry's mod. There's not much you can do about that. But we're going to do everything we can to reduce the lag. VIP is probably going to be made accessible when we actually have like the game mode practically done, and when we have shown people pictures of them, videos of it, when we've allowed most people who have a role to join the server, when we're very close to a beta test, to make sure that people know what they're buying. So like 1 week before the server releases, something of the sort. And don't forget on testing, right? Now, on testing, yeah, the game mode wasn't fully done, but at the same time on testing, you had like 60 people on the same street shooting rockets at each other. We had like what 66 something people, and they were all in the same area shooting at each other, and you had like 50 FPS. I mean, when you have everyone on the switch, it was like 45 to 50 FPS. Obviously, it's gonna be lesser. Like it's probably gonna be, let's say 40 FPS. I don't know. I can't speculate. The rules on resistance will be there's not gonna be any specific rules on resistance. You can resist however you want as long as it makes sense in roleplay. It's just again roleplay. Your roleplay being like it's not gonna be a resistance job. You're just gonna be a citizen, and you can choose to resist if you want to. And as long as you're not going around acting like a retard and minging or going and shooting at people in the middle of the street, like fighting very superior forces, just fail RPing in general. You can make your own resistance group. You can resist on your own. You can join an already existing resistance group. You can do anything you want. So that sort. Uh, the certain tools, yes, obviously we're gonna restrict tools because I mean tools are restricted because they're abusable to begin with. But yeah, tools will be restricted to VIPs. Out of character tools, like not in character tools. Uh, no, you're gonna be able to create a character that's unique basically because you choose its face, its color, and so on. There's gonna be a lot of choice, both for women and men. But at the same time, you won't have fatter or thinner people. Everyone's gonna be the same size. I mean, it's practically impossible to have that work, especially because of our clothing system is gonna work. A GM role? What do you mean by GM? Like game master or what? Well, yeah, as I said, it's gonna be some staff members are gonna be part of like a senior staff member is gonna be a game master, and he's gonna have a game management team. So yeah, they will exist. I've gone through that already. I mean, if you're playing on a laptop with shitty connection, I mean, again, it's like it's and plus it's Garvis mode, plus it's gonna be a complex game mode. Like, yeah, you're probably gonna have bad performance, like you probably would have on any Garvis mode server to begin with. Yeah, citizens will be able to build. There probably won't be swaps. It's gonna be sort of acting. Again, I can't answer that question yet. Nah, you won't. Nothing in character is buyable. No items, no currency, so not loyalty points, not money, not ranks. Literally nothing in character can be bought. Not skill systems. The only thing you're gonna be able to buy from in character is skill system resets, so that you can reset your points that you've assigned. You're probably gonna get one by default, and then the second one you're gonna have to buy. But you won't be able to buy any kind of item. You won't be able to buy materials. You won't be able to buy money. You won't be able to buy food. You won't be able to buy loyalty points. You won't be able to buy ranks. We don't want to, I guess, monetize roleplay in that sense. We want roleplay to be completely, I guess, money free. Again, Walter, I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I can't speculate how much football performance you're gonna have, depending on your computer. Like, there might be special animations. I mean, to be honest, there will be less like the base game animations won't exist. Like we won't have sexy dancing and stuff most likely, but there might be some animations like sitting against the wall, for example, stuff like that. Pack 3 animations will be allowed, but they're gonna be very restricted to only stuff that is realistic. So, and we're gonna have very strict Pack 3 rules. Like in here, you minge with Pack 3 more than twice, you probably get it removed. So it won't be like on World War II, you can, get away with using, misusing it a few times. In here, like if you actually misuse it, you get it removed, and we're gonna make sure of that. Yes, you will have like CPs. First off, they will most likely like there will gonna be voice chat obviously, but CPs are more likely to type to you. CPs that talk will probably gonna have voice changers so that they sound like actual CPs. So you won't have like I mean I guess like a 12-year-old squeaking at you as a CP. It won't be cringe like that like you have on other servers. And they would have actual radio calls that will, like, when they type in chat, you will be able to hear, I guess, the sound effect that you hear on other servers, depending on what they say. And there will be specific things that they can say, like get back, for example, that you'd hear, like you genuinely hear. Yeah, like by that, I mean, obviously, yeah, if your pack 3 gets removed, like by the point you get your pack 3 removed, you're probably going to be banned for being a minge anyways. Don't forget, people, you can call a staff member and be like, is this pack 3 allowed before you use it, right? So it's not a matter of, oh, you accidentally use something that someone doesn't like and then you get it removed. It's going to be a multiple strike system, and you're going to be able to ask stuff if your pack 3 is allowed first. And by the time you, I guess, you get it removed, you obviously will probably get banned from minging in the first place with it. No, there isn't gonna be a Dr. Brain job. Dr. Brain wouldn't be in CT24 alone. He's like, like, you'd have like just the low level, the local administration, and the city administrator is gonna be me. So, and there's that. So you can't apply for it or whatever. There's gonna be lower. I mean, it might not be lower, but warns are gonna be very easily given in here. There's gonna be harsher punishments. It's gonna be more likely that you're gonna get banned for like an hour and stuff of the sort. But yeah, no, like there is gonna be a system where if you get a certain amount of warnings, you get perm banned. But again, in C7, first of all, by that point, you get banned without a certain amount of warns. And second of all, in here, warns are gonna be given way easier, and there's gonna be harsher punishments. Especially there's gonna be way easier warns given for fail RP. So science/research RP. So the obviously, as you know, we have the URF, the Universal Research Foundation, which is scientific group under the Civil Workers Union. So the way it works, right? Obviously, they will be doing stuff like they will be, for example, the ones who craft medicine that is given to Civil Medical Union, for example. But genuine research RP, so them actually researching something, would exist in the sense in which if they genuinely make a discovery in character, the game masters can decide to put it on the server, like to get it coded onto the server. So if the URF, again, I don't know, develops a new type of medicine with a lot of role play, a lot of documents behind, a lot of actual research and actual science, it is going to be added on the server. Like it is going to be custom coded into the server if it needs to. So the URF is going to genuinely be able to make advancements in the science of the server. Perhaps specific technology, specific weapons. Perhaps if we're going to have an event where antlions come and invade a city, and we have it like multiple times, they might develop a certain way of stopping them, scientifically speaking. So, no, obviously, all of this is going to be managed by game masters to make sure that only first of all, the idea makes sense, it's applicable and there was enough effort put into it. But yeah, Science RP is actually going to physically affect the server. The server is going to be set in 2014 or something of the sort. So basically between Half-Life Alyx and Half-Life 2. It is at the height. It is at the height of combine power, right? At the height of combine control, because by Half-Life 2, the combine already started losing grasp, and there's a lot of resistance and a lot of rebellion. And at the beginning, obviously in Alyx, the combine have just taken the planet. They're still setting up everything. They're still cleaning up. So it's gonna be between Half-Life Alyx and Half-Life 2, especially because we want to borrow lore from both of them. And and okay, so the it is gonna be again between Half-Life Alyx and Half-Life 2. CP apps, I mean, again, they probably won't be reopened. We have enough CPs for the beginning of the server. Obviously, for some reason, they turn out to be bad and we have to replace them. There might be applications opened in the future. Perhaps we're going to allow like a few more CPs, like a restricted number after we recruit some OTA. But that's kind of it. Like the new other CPs are going to have to genuinely get the rank in character without application. OTA, again, they are going to be used more liberally than they would be. So you won't be able to, you won't only like see them like once a month when something really bad happens. So it is gonna be possible that you're gonna see like one OTA guarding a certain building or one OTA guarding a checkpoint, helping CPU with a checkpoint. Now again, OTA is gonna be overpowered. They're gonna have a lot of HP, a lot of armor. They're gonna be immune to fear RP. They're gonna have aim assist, like genuine aim assisting software on the server. They're gonna be genuinely overpowered, and that's why there's gonna be a very reduced amount of them. Even so, there's going to be a reduced amount of how many of them can be on at once. And even so, they are only going to be, in isolated, like one at once. You're only going to see multiple OT in the same place if it's like a big thing, like genuinely big, like proper resistance uprising. No, if science goes wrong, we're not going to change the game mode of the server to like Metro 2033. I mean, the rules will be released like again with the beta testing, but there's not going to be anything special. Like it's gonna be stuff like fail RP. It's like we're gonna have less rules than World War II because they're more general. It's like fail RP. I mean, you can put practically half of the rules in World War II under fail RP. Like you can put all of the building rules in under fail RP. You can put RDM under fail RP. You can put NLR under fail RP. Like it's gonna be like it's gonna be a few rules which are overreaching. Like they're gonna, I guess, uh, be just like a small set of rules that encompass everything that is against the rules, instead of having like 20,000 rules and still not properly applying them like it happens in World War II. There won't be an NLR timer. Like if you die in a raid, you don't go back. If you die in a combat situation, you don't go back. If you die in a place, you simply don't go back for like 10 minutes, something of the sort. Like it's gonna be proper NLR. Like if you die, you might not get PK'd, but you're a new person. I mean, in a sense, I mean, you can still remember like what you're part of as Lambda and stuff like that. Like again, it's not a PK. You're still the same person, but like you don't go and interfere with the same RP situation at all. Like you wait for it to end. You don't go back. Like if you die in a combat, you don't go back in there even after like half an hour if the combat is still going on. Anyways, I'm gonna be taking like 5 more questions and I'm gonna be closing this. So if you have any questions, put them in. And I did like actual like big questions. It might take more than 5, but I mean it's like it has to be actual like important questions like when the rules get released. Yeah, CPs can go rogue. I've gone about that as well already. CPs aren't able to go back to being civs after they join CP. Like there won't be anything like off duty and stuff, especially because they're gonna get transhumanized like after like one rank. So it won't make sense. Like there won't be like CPs are CPs and that's all they are. They can't get rid of their costume, their suit. And yeah, CPs like the lowest ranks will be able to go rogue. Also, to get their stuff, CPs might have to go to an armory to get their weapons and ammo and stuff instead of just spawning with. Like they probably won't spawn with it. No, we're gonna be using a different rank structure for both CP and OTA. Again, classic ones. I mean, the classic ones, quote unquote, are fiction made by Half-Life RP community. They're not actual lore, so we're gonna be deviating from that. They're gonna be similar but more extensive, better structured. Since there's gonna be more of a military RP aspect. So like when you join CP, you're actually gonna have to know how to fight. You're actually gonna have to listen to orders. You actually like it's not 1000% RP based. It's actually gonna be combat, so you have to be combat ready. So I guess CP has to work as an efficient combat force, and so does OTA. Therefore, they are gonna need to have a proper rank structure that functions. There might be ways to be yes, there will probably be ways of for resistance to be able to get the CP, like the basic lowest rank CP uniform. Civil Workers Union rank again the same, like we're gonna make them public later. Yes, you can only have 3 characters. You can buy more than that. combined force fields that we can't guarantee they're gonna be on the server. Even if they are, they're gonna be very reduced. There's gonna be special ways in which they can get through them for Lambda. You're gonna be able to just walk up to it and hack it. Yeah, I can have something those are specifics. We haven't gone into all of the specifics yet as in development. So I mean, I'm gonna be taking the last question that Volto Shark is writing now in the chat, and then I'm gonna be ending this. Yes, you will be able to craft ammo. Okay, so for Half-Life, you're gonna have the OTA weapons, which are like combined technology weapons, which is not gonna be only the pulse rifle. You're actually gonna have an actual combined technology shotgun and a combined technology heavy machine gun. As for the CP's loadout, no, not the Half-Life Alyx weapons. As for the CPs, you're not gonna have the actual Half-Life weapons. You're gonna have the same weapons, so like the same pistol and the same, like the MP7 for the SMG, for example. Like the SMG, the CPs uses an MP7, but they're gonna be from different weapon packs, so they actually look decent. Because let's be honest, the Half-Life weapons from the base game, I mean, it's a game made like 12 years ago. They obviously look like shit, no matter how HD you make them. And that's for the other weapons. It's just gonna be like normal weapons that should have like in 2014. Like again, the weapons the resistance will be able to get or craft. So not sure. I can't guarantee what weapon pack we're gonna be using for basic weapons, but again, you can expect like the average weapon you'd expect, like fucking eight, like a Glock, for example, like stuff like that, right? Because again, what weapons were around in 2014? Those weapons would be the ones that the resistance can get. Anyways, so no, we won't have the Half-Life Alyx weapons. There's way too few of them. They're way too big, way too complicated, and most of them are just for would be only for resistance anyways. And the contrast would be way too big between like the 2 or 3 weapons from Half-Life Alyx and the other weapons of the server. So yes, this has been the community meeting. Again, we've gone. There's gonna be like probably 1 or 2 more by the end of the game mode. Don't forget release date beginning of August. Everything else like beta testing and all 1 week or 2 weeks before. Also, make sure to apply for stuff, for server stuff. I mean, if you want to, yeah, you can. Anyways, send it to me in private as well, because I might actually put it as announcement. Yes, there will be donator ranks. Anyways, last question. What do you mean VR mode? No, we're not gonna have like fucking. What do you mean? It's fucking Gary's money. Anyways, so this has been the meeting. Thank you for attending. We'll see you next time. You can still ask questions in the questions channel and so on.